Today we will start the section History, chapter The French Revolution. Now, before reading from the book, I want to give you an introduction about the French Revolution, a picture of the French Revolution, you can say. Now, the French Revolution start हुआ था 1789 में and it ended in 1799. The French Revolution marked the end of monarchy in France. अब French Revolution से पहले France was a monarch country with the King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette. Now, King के पास he had the total power over people and the government. He was the head of the country. Before the French Revolution, people were divided into three classes called estates. The first estate was clergy, the second estate being the nobility, and the third commoners or peasants. थ्री हिस्सों में divided थी, clergy, nobles and commoners. Now the third estate, the commoners, सिर्फ उसी से ही tax and everything the government used to take, and 90% of the population was of the commoners. अब जब एक ही section of the society से tax and all लिया जाएगा, there will be discontentment with the government, and there were many reasons though, but the main reason being taxes and food. The French Revolution took place. Now, the basic reason being of the French Revolution was discontentment with the French monarchy and the poor economic policies of King Louis XVI. दो ही रीजन्स मेन आप कह सकते हैं, एक तो फ्रेंच मोनार्की के अगेंस्ट होना एंड दी पुअर इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज ऑफ द किंग. सो नाउ स्टार्टिंग विद द बुक. On the morning of 14th July 1789, the city of Paris was in a state of alarm. The king had commanded troops to move into the city. किंग ने कमांड करा था कि जो उसके ट्रूप्स हैं वो सिटी के अंदर चले जाएं, एंड देन रूमर्स स्प्रेड दैट ही वुड सून ऑर्डर द आर्मी टू ओपन फायर अपॉन इट्स सिटीजन्स. सम 7,000 men and women gathered in front of the town hall and decided to form a people's militia. अब जितने भी कॉमन पीपल थे उन्होंने सोचा कि they decided that they will form a people's militia to fight back. They broke into a number of government buildings in search for arms. Finally, a group of 700 people marched towards the eastern part of the city and stormed the fortress prison, the Bastille, where they hoped to find hoarded ammunition. अब गवर्नमेंट से लड़ने के लिए उनको भी एम्यूनेशन की ज़रूरत थी, तो वो एक फोर्ट्रेस प्रिजन बैस्टिल में गए वहाँ पे एम्यूनेशन ढूंढने के लिए. In the armed fight that followed, the commander of the Bastille was killed and the prisoners released, though there were only 7 of them. Yet the Bastille was hated by all because it stood for the despotic power of the king. Bastille Tower फोर्ट सब हेट करते थे उसको, इसीलिए उन लोग ने डिमोलिश करने का वो करा. एंड द स्टोन्स जो वहाँ से उन लोग ने तोड़े थे, दे वर सोल्ड टू दोज जिन्होंने वादा करा कि वो एक एक सोवेनियर फॉर इट्स डिस्ट्रक्शन के लिए सजा के रखेंगे. द फोर्ट्रेस वॉज डिमोलिश एंड इट्स स्टोन फ्रेगमेंट्स वर सोल्ड इन द मार्केट्स टू ऑल दोज हु विश्ड to keep a souvenir of its destruction. The days that followed saw more rioting both in Paris and on the countryside. Most people were protesting against the high price of the bread. Now, द बेसिक फूड, जैसे हमारे यहाँ रोटी होती है उनके यहाँ ब्रेड होती है फ्रांस में. सो द पॉपुलेशन वॉज इंक्रीजिंग एंड द प्राइस ऑफ और डिमांड भी बढ़ रही थी इसीलिए इसके लिए, तो प्राइस भी ब्रेड के बढ़ते जा रहे थे. एंड द पुअर वर नॉट एबल टू बाय ब्रेड. So much later, when historians look back upon this time, they saw it as the beginning of a chain of events that ultimately led to the execution of the king in France, though most people at the time did not anticipate this outcome. How and why did this happen? Now, during the French Revolution, both the king and the queen were executed. Queen a few months before the king, the queen Marie Antoinette, now was executed on 16th October 1793, and the king was executed on 21st January 1793. Upon his succession, the new king found an empty treasury. Long years of war had drained the financial resources of France. Added to this was the cost of maintaining an extravagant court at the immense palace of Versailles. Under Louis XVI, France helped the 13 American colonies to gain their independence from the common enemy Britain. Now, when he was named the king, he found an empty treasury. Why? क्योंकि the war had drained the financial resource of France, और उनको अपना एक पैलेस भी मेंटेन करना था, द पैलेस ऑफ वर्सेलिस. एंड फ्रांस ने हेल्प करी थी 13 अमेरिकन कॉलोनीज़ को इंडिपेंडेंस गेन करने में फ्रॉम द कॉमन एनिमी ब्रिटेन. नाउ ब्रिटेन वॉज द कॉमन एनिमी ऑफ मोस्ट ऑफ द कंट्रीज़. वाई? बिकॉज ब्रिटेन ने बहुत सारी कंट्रीज़ को कॉलोनाइज करा हुआ था एंड अमेरिका वॉज वन ऑफ देम. नाउ कमिंग बैक, द वॉर एडेड मोर दैन a 2 billion leverage to a debt that had already risen to more than 2 billion leverage. Now coming to new words, a leverage, a unit of currency in France, discontinued in 1794. And what is a clergy? A group of persons invested with special functions in the church. Tithe, a tax levied by the church comprising 1/10 of the agricultural produce, and tithe, tax to be paid directly to the state. Now these are the new words which are very important because it helps later in the chapter that what is the meaning of this, what is the meaning of that. So it helps. Now, lenders who gave the state credit now began to charge 10% interest on loans. अब जो भी लेंडर्स थे उस स्टेट के, पेरिस के, फ्रांस के, वो 10% चार्ज करने लग गए थे एज इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन्स. अब जब इतना ज़्यादा आप रेट बढ़ा दोगे तो जो गवर्नमेंट भी थी वो भी इंटरेस्टेड हो गई कि इसमें इन्वेस्ट करे, बिकॉज उसको भी अपनी ट्रेजरी भरनी थी, उसके पास तो ज़्यादा वो था नहीं रिसोर्सेज, सो उसको भी अपना ट्रेजर भरना था. तो ही स्टार्टेड इन्वेस्टिंग ऑन दिस. बट to meet its regular expenses such as cost of maintaining an army, the court, running government offices or universities, the state was forced to increase taxes. अब उसको अपने रेगुलर खर्चे भी मेंटेन करने थे, लाइक ऑल दीज. तो द गवर्नमेंट वॉज फोर्स्ड टू इंक्रीज टैक्सेस. Yet this measure would not have been sufficient. French society in the 18th century was divided into 3 estates. The only members of the third estate paid taxes. Now, as I told you in the introduction, the people were divided into 3. The first estate being the clergy, the second being the nobility, and the third में आते हैं big businessmen, merchants, court official, lawyers, etc., peasants and artisans, and small peasants, landless laborers and servants. So sorry. तो अब only the third estate had to pay taxes. The first and the second estate were exempted from paying taxes. So there is a discrimination between the people. The Society of Estates was part of the feudal system that dated back to the Middle Ages. The old regime is usually used to describe the society and instructions of France before 1789. So this feudal system बहुत पुराने ज़माने से चला आ रहा था फ्रांस में. Now figure 2, this figure shows the distinction, shows how the system of estate in French society was organized. Peasants made about 90% of the population. However, only a small number of them owned the land they cultivated. About 60% of the land was owned by nobles, the church, and other richer members of the third estate. The member of the first two estates, that is the clergy and the nobility, enjoyed certain privileges by birth. अब जो the first two estates थे उनको बहुत सारे फ़ायदे थे. पहला तो फ़ायदा सबसे बड़ा कि उनको कोई टैक्स ही नहीं पे करना पड़ता था. The most important of these was the exemption from paying taxes to the state. The nobles further enjoyed feudal privileges. These included feudal dues which they extracted from the peasants. अब उनको भी फ़ायदा होता था, वो अपने feudal dues peasant से कलेक्ट करते थे. तो इस पूरे डिस्टिंक्शन ऑफ एस्टेट्स में सबसे ज़्यादा वर्स्ट पोजीशन पे थे हमारे स्मॉल peasants. Peasants were obliged to render services to the lord, to work in his house and fields, to serve in the army or to participate in building roads. यहाँ तक is everyone clear? Now, the church too extracted its share of taxes called the tithes from the peasants, and finally all members of the third estate had to pay taxes to the state. These included a direct tax called taille and a number of indirect taxes which were levied on articles of everyday consumption like salt or tobacco. So you can see that कि कितना द थर्ड एस्टेट को दबाया जाता था, उनसे बहुत सारा टैक्सेस एक्सट्रैक्ट करा जाता था. द बर्डन ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग एक्टिविटीज़ ऑफ द स्टेट थ्रू द टैक्सेस वॉज बोर्न बाय द थर्ड एस्टेट अलोन. जितना भी टैक्स पे करना होता था वो थर्ड एस्टेट को अलोन पे करना होता था. एंड दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइक टिधे टेले, सो कीप अ रिकॉर्ड. नाउ देयर इज़ अ इलस्ट्रेशन ऑल्सो that the peasant is so thin and lean while the master, the nobleman, is fat and sitting over there. Now coming first, let us look at the new words. Subsistence crisis, an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered. Anonymous, one whose name remains unknown. Now coming to the struggle to survive. अब इस पैराग्राफ में मेनली जो पॉपुलेशन थी फ्रांस की वो बढ़ रही थी. अब जब पॉपुलेशन बढ़ती है तब फूड के लिए डिमांड भी बढ़ती है. बट अगर जब फूड की प्रोडक्शन उतनी ही हो और पॉपुलेशन बढ़ती जाए तो डिमांड बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगी, और डिमांड बढ़ने से क्या होता है, प्राइस में बढ़ावा आता है. सो द पुअर पीजेंट्स जो अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते हैं महंगी चीज़ों को, वो तो जो मतलब उनका भी दैट स्टेपल डाइट विच इज़ ब्रेड, वो लोग अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो धीरे धीरे उनमें रिजेंटमेंट आए गई गवर्नमेंट को लेकर. Now coming to the book, the population of France rose from about 23 million in 1715 to 28 million in 1718. This led to a rapid increase in the demand for food grains. Production of grains could not keep pace with the demand. So the price of bread, which was the staple diet of the majority, rose rapidly. Most workers were employed as laborers in workshops whose owner fixed their wages, but wages did not keep pace with the rise in prices. So the gap between the poor and the rich widened. Things become worse whenever drought or hail reduced the harvest. This led to a subsistence crisis, something that occurred frequently in France during the old regime. Now, the peasants and the commoners, the lower commoners, the poor, they used to work in workshops जिनके थोड़े से और बड़े उसके होते थे, द डिस्टिंक्शन, द सोशल क्लासेस, और जहाँ पे वो काम करते थे उनका जो सैलरी, उनका जो वेज होता था वो वही लोग डिसाइड करते थे. द वर्कर्स डिड नॉट. अब जब वो डिसाइड करते थे तो वो उनकी सैलरी या वेज उस पेस से, उस स्पीड से नहीं बढ़ाते थे जिससे प्राइसेस बढ़ रहे हैं. नाउ द फूड प्राइसेस वर गोइंग अप बट द सैलरी उनकी कम ही रहती थी. सो इस चक्कर में जो पुअर थे वो और पुअर होते गए और जो रिच थे वो और रिच होते गए. सो द गैप बिटवीन द पुअर एंड द रिच मोर वाइडेंड. और जब ड्रॉट और हेल पड़ती थी, मतलब जब सूखा और जब हेल पड़ती थी, तब हार्वेस्ट और कम हो जाती थी, फूड और कम बनता था, डिमांड और ज़्यादा बढ़ती थी और पुअर भूखे रहते थे. सो दिस लेड टू अ सब्सटेनेंस क्राइसिस. नाउ देर इज़ एन एक्टिविटी गिवन इन दिस. दिस इज़ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड ये समझने में भी हेल्प करता है. In this block, there are words given like food riots, scarcity of grain, increased number of deaths, rising food prices, and weaker bodies. I have filled out the initials because I had this much of space. Now, bad harvest. Now, bad harvest leads to scarcity of grain. जब bad harvest होगी तब थोड़ा अनाज पैदा होगा. A bad harvest leads to rising in food prices. अब जब कम अनाज पैदा होगा तब प्राइस भी ऊपर जाएंगे. And the poorest can no longer buy bread. Now this block leads to two arrows. We will do the first, the W1. Now in the W1, the poorer can no longer buy bread, मतलब weaker bodies. Weaker bodies can lead to disease epidemics, and disease epidemics can lead to increased number of deaths. Now again go to the block with the poorest can no longer buy bread. When the poorest can no longer buy bread, then food riots will take place. जितना थोड़ा सा जो उनके पास भी फूड होगा उसके लिए भी वो लोग लड़ेंगे. And that will also lead to increased number of deaths. So you can see what was happening. Now coming to the growing middle class envisages an end to privileges. Now in the past, peasants and workers had participated in revolts against increasing taxes and food scarcity. But they lacked the means and programs to carry out full-scale measures that would bring about a change in the social and economic order. अब पहले भी मोनार्की के अगेंस्ट एंड द फूड हाइकिंग के अगेंस्ट रिवोल्ट्स करे गए थे, बट रिवोल्ट को भी एक सक्सेसफुल बनाने के लिए एक प्लान चाहिए होता है, मीन्स चाहिए होते हैं, रिसोर्सेज चाहिए होते हैं आपको, कि वो एक चेंज ला पाए ऑन दी सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक लेवल. नाउ दिस वॉज लेफ्ट टू दोज ग्रुप्स विच within the third estate who had become prosperous and had access to education and new ideas. अब ये सब तो वही प्लान कर सकते थे जो थर्ड estate के सबसे ऊपर वाले लेवल पे थे, जिनके पास एजुकेशन, न्यू आइडियाज़ और रिसोर्सेज थे. Now the 18th century witnessed the emergence of social groups termed the middle class, who earned their wealth through an expanding overseas trade and from the manufacture of goods such as woolen and silk textiles that were either exported or brought by the richer member of the society. Now जितने भी अब काफ़ी सारे सोशल ग्रुप्स बन रहे थे और एक मिडिल क्लास इमर्ज करके आई जो अपनी वेल्थ कमाते थे ओवरसीज़ ट्रेड से और मैन्युफैक्चर ऑफ गुड्स से. Now we will do till here only. I will give a worksheet जितना भी मैंने explain करा है यहाँ तक, and you will do it, and if you have any doubts you can ask me in the group. We will continue in the next video.